The Lakari matriarch, Silvercoat, howled her grief into the mountain wind. Around her, the pack echoed her sorrow, their voices rising and falling in the ancient song of loss. The avalanche had taken everything: their den, their supplies, and worst of all, their 7 cubs. The human settlement below had offered rescue teams, but Silvercoat had refused. What could they do? The snow had buried the den entrance under 30 feet of ice and rock. The cubs were gone. All that remained was to mourn. 3 days passed. The pack huddled in a temporary shelter, their songs growing weaker. They had accepted the loss, as their ancestors had learned to accept the cruelty of the mountains. Then the human appeared. He emerged from the blizzard like a ghost, covered head to toe in snow and ice. His beard was frozen solid, his clothes torn and bloodstained. He shouldn't have been alive. The storm had been raging for 2 days, and the temperature had dropped to lethal levels even for the Lakari's thick fur. But he was walking, staggering, really, each step a monumental effort. And in his arms, wrapped in what looked like his own shredded jacket and thermal blankets, were the cubs. All 7 of them. Silvercoat's howl cut off mid-note. The entire pack fell silent, staring in disbelief. The human, they would later learn his name, was Jacob Peterson, a mining engineer from the settlement, collapsed to his knees at the entrance to their shelter. His lips were blue, his hands blackened with frostbite, but he carefully, so carefully, set down his precious cargo. Found them, he whispered through cracked, bleeding lips. All alive. Kept them warm. The cubs stirred, whimpering. They were thin, frightened, but alive. Impossibly alive. Silvercoat rushed forward, her maternal instincts overriding her shock. She gathered the cubs, checking each one frantically. Minor injuries, dehydration, but they would survive. They would all survive. Ow, she breathed, looking at the human who had now collapsed entirely into the snow. Jacob's eyes were closing, hypothermia claiming him. But he managed to smile. Heard you singing. 3 days of grief songs. He coughed, and blood flecked his lips. Couldn't let it be for nothing. The pack's medic, Quick Paw, rushed to examine him. His body temperature is catastrophic. He has severe frostbite, 3 broken ribs, and internal bleeding. He should be dead. Quick Paw looked up, his eyes wide with awe and horror. He dug through 30 feet of avalanche debris. Alone, with hand tools, in a blizzard. Silvercoat understood then. While our pack had mourned, this human had been digging. For 3 days and 2 nights, through one of the worst storms in decades, he had clawed through ice and rock. He had found the cubs in an air pocket, kept them warm with his own body heat, and carried them back through conditions that would kill most beings in hours. Why? She asked, touching his frozen face gently with her paw. We are not your pack. These are not your cubs. Jacob's eyes opened one last time, focusing on the cubs now nursing from their mothers, alive and safe. Heard you singing, he repeated. No parent should sing that song. Then he passed out. The pack carried him to their shelter, wrapping him in every warm hide they possessed. Silvercoat sent runners to the human settlement for medical help, though she suspected it would arrive too late. But humans, she was learning, were resilient in ways that defied logic. Jacob Peterson survived. He lost 3 fingers and 2 toes to frostbite and would walk with a limp for the rest of his life. But he survived. The Lakari had ancient traditions about pack bonds, about who belonged and who remained outsiders. Those traditions changed that winter night. When Jacob was well enough to leave the healing den, Silvercoat performed a ceremony that hadn't been done in 3 generations. She pressed her forehead to his, marking him with the pack's scent. You dug through a mountain for cubs not your own, she said, her voice thick with emotion. You gave your blood and body to silence our grief songs. By our oldest laws, you are pack now. You are family. Jacob looked at the 7 cubs playing nearby, cubs that wouldn't exist without his refusal to accept the impossible. He smiled, tears freezing on his scarred cheeks. Guess I'm a dog person after all, he whispered. The pack's laughter and howls of joy echoed through the mountains, a very different song than the one they had sung 3 days before. And this time, A human voice joined the chorus that read Triclawed can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.